Hey everyone, it's Brian and Jeff with WorkshopAddict.com. We have in front of us Milwaukee's new combination wrench sets. They have both metric and standard, 15 and 7-piece wrench sets, and we have more information on part numbers and everything that comes with them in our description below. Now Milwaukee came out with these and wanted to be a little bit different than a lot of the wrench sets that you'll see on the market. They incorporated an I-beam design and also what they call a max bite on the open end wrench side to give you a little bit more torque, they say, but reality is it really bites onto the nut or bolt that you have onto it. And we're going to go into a little bit more of the pros and cons of that later. Basically what we want to do here is say, do you want to buy this kit? Is it for you? How's it going to work? So to do that, we're going to look at the sizing, the overall physical size of the wrench, the thickness, the labeling, how we feel these are going to be used, and basically our overall opinion of who these wrenches are for. Because Milwaukee is new to this game in combination wrenches, we wanted to see how their tolerances are going to compare to some of the other wrenches that we have. We started out with our 20-plus-year-old made in the USA Craftsman 9/16 model. That ended up measuring out at 0.569 inches. We went to the Milwaukee and it measured out the same at 0.569. We moved down to the Husky 9/16 model that we just got, and that measured out at 0.573. So you can see there's a little bit of difference between the Husky and the Milwaukee, but we're going to call the Craftsman and the Milwaukee very accurate. We moved over to our metric, in which we threw in Sonic. Our Sonic is it was a 16 millimeter, so that measured out at 16.2. We moved over to the Craftsman, again 20-year-old, made in the USA. That is measuring out at 16.22. We went to the Milwaukee, that was 16.23, and we went to the Husky, that measured out at 16.28.
We did all the sizing of these wrenches basically to give you an idea of a cost to quality factor.
We have in front of you a variety of probably lower end wrenches compared to what some mechanics use. But the big thing that you can see here between these wrenches is there is a huge difference in thickness, not only in their shaft but also in the head and in the closed end. The lower grade material that's used will require more thickness and more material around this relief area, and you can tell a huge difference when you go from the Husky to the Sonic. That's going to make a big difference in how much you can turn the wrench in the tighter spaces that you can get these wrenches into. So when you go down this line here, we're not saying that one is better than the other, but at least in tolerances and thicknesses, the first three of the Sonic, the Craftsman, and the Milwaukee definitely are very close. This extra material on the Husky kind of takes it down a notch, but Milwaukee is trying to keep up with some of the better end wrenches on the market, especially when you get to that shade tree mechanic or the do-it-yourself guy.
Milwaukee did a real nice job with the stamping on the increments on both ends of the wrenches, whether it's metric or standard. I do like the standard a little better since they're inlaid with red over the black. The black is a little hard to see when it's sitting in the case, but it's nice, big letters, big numbers.
When you see these things on the shelf, the first thing that's going to come out to you is the chrome. The chrome's awesome. The I-beam in here has a little bit of contour to it. It makes it flash. There's a laser etched Milwaukee logo that's right in the center. When you flip it over on the other side, it's more of a, I believe that would be embossed over top. They look awesome. The kicker about it is the chrome is really bright, probably not going to show up well in pictures, and I agree 100% with Jeff that they could have went with a blue, maybe a bright blue.
A green, a yellow, anything other than black.
And looks, what we always say, chrome doesn't get you home. Chrome might be easy to clean up in this place, but I think these wrenches, once you look at the max bite, the way that everything is put out, these wrenches were made to sell on the shelf. We're going to test out this max bite and show you if it's something that you want. The basics of this max bite system, they have a bunch of slots cut in the wrench, and then they contour the wrench to match the nut exactly with some cutouts around the corners so that you're not putting any pressure on the corner of the bolt or nut. So when you put this on and tighten up, you have a very solid feeling that this wrench isn't going to slip backwards. And as long as we pull a little bit forward on the wrench, this will not come off. When we pull straight off, obviously it's going to come out. You put a little bit forward on it and we can move this table without an issue. Now if we do that with a normal wrench, we can put this on, we still get a comfortable feeling, but if we pull backwards at all, even with a little bit of forward, try to move the table, we end up coming off. And that's no joke. It's pretty serious when you look at what this max bite system does. With very little pressure forward, this wrench will stay on there. And there's actually a little piece where you can come back 1/16 of an inch, and it will hold that bolt there. It's amazing what it does, but what it'll also do is slow you down. So if you're trying to loosen something up and you want to pull this wrench off, you got to get it in the perfect position for it to come off, where a normal wrench is going to be smooth as butter, just sliding in and out. So it might slow you down, and it might be something you like, something you don't like. That's all going to depend on your preferences. Now this might sound petty, but we initially wondered if these little etchings or grooves would make a mark in the bolt or nut, because it could matter depending on the type of car that you're working on. In all our testing, we found that they do not leave any marks or any more than any normal wrench would. What we have found on more rusted bolts is that the max bite system gets even more of a bite, and that makes it a little more difficult to be fast while you're turning these on and off. So on a rusty bolt, you're still not leaving any marks, but you are getting a lot more bite on that bolt, and it's a little more complicated to get it fully engaged with the wrench.
I think Milwaukee did an excellent job with the max bite system, but unfortunately in the real world, how often do you use an open end wrench under high torque situations? Me, I personally gonna slip over to the box end.
What are you worried about, slipping off the nut?
Well, yeah.
That's why they did it.
True, but I've also had wrenches open up on the open end wrench.
I agree. You're right. We're talking about a 10% scenario here when people have to use your open end of the wrench in a high torque situation. And I think that's why Milwaukee came out with it. For those situations, you now have something that's going to grab on a little bit more to give you the confidence to use it.
It has its place.
It does. It's more of the right tool for the right use. I mean,
Yep.
We have to have that, and that's where this comes into play. I almost wish that they gave us an option that we could get with
or without.
Because I think some mechanics out there are going to say, you know what, this slows me down just a bit, I don't want it. And that's going to narrow their market. While they did definitely improve on the wrench, or tried to come out and improve on the wrench, and for most people they did.
For your normal users, I don't think it's going to create a problem. I think they're going to get used to it right off the bat because they don't do it every day.
Tough call.
Yeah.
How many guys out there, and that's what I want to hear from you guys in the comments. You've seen how this works. Let us know what you think. Is it something that you think you'd like? You might feel that it's slowing you down. Personally, I would not have just this set in my toolbox.
No.
I will have this set along with another set, and I like how they feel. I like how they look. Looks don't get me to get the job done.
But all around, it's got a very functional fit, feel. It's a nice wrench.
It's a little bit bright. I think this would have looked awesome in matte. I think this would look great in a matte black. I don't need the chrome. I like black tools, and this would be an awesome set to be black. It would give the offset of the stamping and the numbers. But we're going off. We could have a wish list on a million different things.
How would that black show up on a black wrench?
It would be white.
Oh, see, now you're changing things all
Changing
together.
the whole thing up. No matter how you go with this, wrenches are something that each
Personal
individual
preference.
is going to want to choose. This is going to fit for some. It's not going to fit for others. It's flashy. It's going to look great on the shelf. And I think that in that case, they knocked it out of the park. They did some good tolerances here. These aren't made in China. I think that's another step up. The pricing on them is not too bad. It fits with a lot of other of the same quality wrenches in the market.
A nice thing that Milwaukee did do is they supplied the trays that come with them. You can actually match them up, mate them together, and they fit inside a drawer. Where a lot of tools, they just come in a bag or whatnot, and this is actually a good display.
This is the first set of wrenches that I would take the case that they come in and put in the drawer and use. They slide in and they slide out simple. They're like they should be, and yet they can put them on the shelf. You cut off 2 tabs on the end and you're easy in, easy out. There's not many other cases on the market that are labeled that will work inside your drawers, even though most people say, oh, they're great, come with it. They're junk. Right. This is not. So there's a lot of pluses here, there's a lot of minuses. Basically what it's going to come down to, do you like them? Let us know below. Also stop by WorkshopAddict.com. Make sure you follow us on social media. We got some awesome giveaways coming up and probably going on right now. Thanks for your time, guys. Don't forget that like. Don't forget that subscribe. Have a good day.